It's Mark Mbogo, the personality coach, and today I really need you to stick all the way to the end of this video because I'm here to talk about a very interesting subject that I feel needs your attention, and that's about personality interviews. Viewers, some companies are very, very serious when it comes to who they hire and why. They are hands on because they are looking for your personality intelligence. And this is the zone that is beyond academic CV. I know you may have submitted your CV to these companies, but they're looking for something extra, something that is not on that paper that is interesting about you. Because generally, these employers or owners of these companies have a company culture to maintain, and you might be that missing link that they're looking for. So I'm here to focus with top 4 interviews that I feel target your personality intelligence of all the many interviews that are out there. Let's begin with what perhaps you're familiar with, and that is what I call traditional interviews. This is where you appear in front of a panel. So they have these general questions asking you about the company. Here's where most of us fail into this trap. This trap of you explaining about the achievements of the company, what they did in this year, what they did in that year, what they're doing recently. Please note, that is not what is really, really important to this panel. They are here to really find out whether you are aware about the company culture. Because I want you to look at it from this perspective. It's a big puzzle, and you are the missing piece of that puzzle. Therefore, you are being targeted to promote yourself in a way that it's not egotistical, in a way that it's not exaggerated. You're here to really promote yourself in a factual way. That means it's how your skill fits in or it's compatible with the company culture. That is what you promote. So talk more about the company culture and how you feel your skill matches with them. You will thank me later. Personality interview number 2 is what I call phone screening. Most of us are not really aware of this, and they are caught off guard. This is where the owner or the employer of the company calls you. Please notice that that call is the initial interview. So how you pick it up, niaje mzito, niaje msupa, wendo unajita nani, all this positions you in a disadvantage zone, because what matters to this company is the distance between you not knowing them and eventually knowing them. That is what really matters to them. So it's a matter of how you sustain this conversation with an unknown person to the point of knowing them. So sustain that conversation to the point of knowing them. That is really important. And that's what that company or companies of this nature target. Notice and please remember, that initial call is the interview. Personality interview number 3 is what I call business meal interviews. Now, I've had the privilege to talk about this in so many media stations about business meal interviews. And you can also check out on my social media pages where I've really put this into perspective. I talk about types of eaters and what these companies are looking for. This is where you are called in a restaurant. Perhaps you're going to be served buffet, or perhaps it's a one-on-one meeting a couple of managers or directors. The point is, some of them may come on time, some of them may come too early, beyond the time they talked about, or some of them may come in too late just to test you and to see how you're going to react around them. Please also notice, this is where you avoid messy foods. By messy foods, I mean foods that you really have to hold with both hands. This is where you manage your food, order something where you can be able to pace your meal and pace your speech, because questions are going to be flying all over, asking you and trying to see how you really respond. So it's what we call in a short multitasking ability of how you manage your food and manage your speech. All that is intentional. So do not come with a very strong dinner etiquette. And by that, I mean where you are the person that Either we eat or either we talk. Please choose one. Do not be strong in this dinner etiquette manners. Simply just order something where you can manage both conversations that are coming towards you and your meal. Notice also something that you have to put an asterisk on this. Some of these managers or directors or employers could have had a previous conversation with the waiter or the waitress, or actually even the restaurant manager. By the time you're ordering, perhaps you're ordering a meal that you expect it to be hot, it comes cold. So their job, and by their job I mean that waiter or the waitress, is to irritate you intentionally. See, what they are targeting here, that is the directors or the managers, is to see how you manage your leadership skill. Now that you're irritated, now that it's worked according to their plan, what do? It's how you manage what really does not work out for you. And if they are really stubborn enough, definitely intentionally stubborn, how do you direct your frustration? Are you going to call the restaurant manager, or do you have an outburst in front of all the restaurant? But simply that may not be the option because you still want to keep a professional image in front of these employers. So it's how you direct your frustration. That is the test. And if you pass it, please pay for what you order. This is a test of principles. It's a test of values. You have to pass this test. So you're not here to really manage your manners and go quiet and have something that's inappropriate to what you had in mind. You're not here to be quiet and keep that professional image in front of your employers. You're here to really point out the issues, but in a well-directed manner, either to the waiter or the waitress or the restaurant manager. Pass that test on principles and values. Lastly, we have what I call these personality interviews. These are interviews that are designed to be outdoor sports or indoor sports intentionally. So if it's outdoor sports, this is where they call into a sport that they are very familiar, that perhaps you've never been in. Something that will yank you up, something that will make your adrenaline rush. Things like bungee jumping, things like zip lining, things like kayaking with people you don't know and you're trying to paddle the water. All these are designed to see your reactions. They call you even to golf. You've never played that sport. See, all this is designed to find something interesting about you. Remember, this is outdoor sports. Some could be indoor sports. They want to see how you handle chess, how you handle, checkers or draft, how you play Monopoly. All these things are designed to find two things that really matter. Number one is how you manage risk. Calculated risk. Are you resistant? Are you timid when you come to this? It's about the unknown and the willingness to try. The willingness to have calculated risks. Pass that test. And lastly, the interesting thing that they look in these interviews is about team building psychology. Some of these sports, whether indoor or outdoor, you need to be in a team of people you don't know, a team of strangers. How is your social technique of interaction? How is your team building psychology? And I talk about that in my book, Personality Intelligence in Business. By the way, viewers, this book talks about only 3 things. I only cover 3 things that matter in terms of you understanding yourself. Team building psychology is very, very important. So keep in mind. More. Stay tuned. It's Mark Mbogwa.